Hello and welcome back to another episode of Threadheads. Last week's episode, we started off with a major trigger warning roller coaster, and then we went over to a Walmart coaching, and then a freak accident involving a 4-year-old and a car, overtime, malicious compliance, 3 Reddit spirals, a mom whose husband and daughter were hiding the daughter's underwear preference. I mean, hey. An entitled customer trying to snag an employee discount. An overzealous new team lead. Petty revenge on a Karen teacher. A custody twist where a father was keeping his daughter because she didn't want to go back to her mom for lying. Some retail public shaming. And a dasher who was stealing somebody's food. And the customer got mad about it. Now, if you wanted to go see that episode and you didn't get to see it last week, I recommend either YouTube or going to my website, which is my-site-r19159cx-paulaversepods, PAULAVERSEPODS.wix-vibe.com, and you can get the stories there. There's also a link for where the podcast is on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcast, iHeartRadio. Is wherever you can get your podcasts. I've been doing a lot of work. But this week we got a roller coaster of a boyfriend catching his girlfriend cheating, but with a twist. A absurd amount of canned fish from Canada, a ethics complaint, and a story of my own about a ethics complaint that I filed, a toddler's first steps, am I the asshole version, a father and his girlfriend giving inappropriate and creepy gifts, an entitled psychopath demanding a discount on cheesecake, yummy, a white dress, am I the angel, where I am confused at first, no problem there, I'm always confused. A dickish kid who won't give up a train seat. Train etiquette. We talked about this the first episode, guys. A warning retail hell with a second retail hell about registers because I thought of it. I was like, wait. A boyfriend who found out about his girlfriend's secret and won't leave her alone about it. Today I effed up by trusting my new wife. Drugging. Some dumb questions from customers for retail. Some roommate dirty dish drama. Nanny hidden breastfeeding cameras. Girlfriends who make the wrong comments. And a sister fighting drama about weddings that wasn't really drama, but yeah. So there are a couple trigger warnings with this episode. Of course, like I said, with the drugging. We also have a trigger warning of homophobia, infidelity, outing someone, teen pregnancy, filming somebody while breastfeeding, and drugging, of course, like I said. But that one is a lighthearted drugging. But I do not enforce or condone drugging people. So, yeah. Let's get into the stories. Before we dive in to this episode, I want to remind everybody, yes, I like to curse. Yes, I am sorry. Yes, my editing is bad. I barely know how to edit myself to where I'm not cursing. So once I get better at editing, I will start bleeping myself, I promise. But until then, let's just enjoy the ride, shall we? Let's get on to today's episode. First story is a Best of Redditor update. It is Caught My Girlfriend, 20 female, of 18 months with another girl, her absurd reaction. And it is concluded, so. This one has a trigger warning of homophobia, infidelity, and outing somebody, so just be forewarned. The original post was posted on January 7th of 2016. So this one's been a while. So thank God it's dealt and over with. I saw people get lots of responses on here, so I thought I'd create an account and see what advice anyone can offer. Sorry for the essay. Oh, I love essays. Give me the book. Okay, a little backstory. I'm 22 and my girlfriend, we'll call her Jess, and I have been in a relationship for nearly 18 months. She's very attractive, and in all honesty, I wouldn't say I'm a lost cause, but I'm certainly punching a bit. Okay. I mean, at least he's honest with himself. Anyway, last week we were at an exhibition function for our shared university course. It was fairly normal evening up until I saw her talking to this girl from the other side of the hall. Nothing unusual, I just didn't recognize her. However, when they turned around, I noticed the mystery girl had her hand seriously low on my girlfriend's back. I didn't think much of it at the time, but they were completely inseparable the entire evening. So, you were at a joint function with your girlfriend, and you weren't by her side, and mystery girl was by her side and had her hand in the position of what the boyfriend's hand should be? Okay. I would have saw red flags then and there, but okay. The next week or so, we were unusually distant from each other. I wanted to make sure nothing was wrong before I went away. I was going to Bristol for the weekend, and I didn't want to leave things on bad terms before I left. But she was not having any of it, just being really blunt and such. So I left for my parents, who were giving me a lift to Bristol, but when I got there, Mom said the old man was ill and we wouldn't be going. At least not today. So already angry that she didn't tell me this over the phone, I drove back to ours in a foul mood, and that's when I caught her. The front door was off the latch for some reason, so I didn't need my key. I came in the door normally, but kind of stopped when I heard what sounded like Jess giggling. We live on a ground floor flat, so there's no floorboards to creak. As I got closer, I could hear someone, clearly female, sound quite breathy, like panting. At this point, I thought Jess might be having some alone time or something, so I was about to make myself known until I looked down and saw a pair of worn pink All-Stars that I knew weren't Jess's. At this point, confusion was starting to build as I turned the corner. Our bedroom door was wide open, and there was the girl from the gallery in my bed. I will censor myself because there is the F word. And someone was beneath the covers. What the F is this? I believe my first reaction. Gallery girl just stared at me shocked, yet as I called to Jess, something strange happened. Absolutely nothing at all. She just stayed under the covers and didn't move. When you know you're guilty, just freeze and they will go away. It's one of those, if I don't move, they won't see me, and they'll walk away moments, but they still see you, you know? Like, haha, that's not how it works, boo-boo. Honestly, it's the most ridiculous, absurd scenario I've ever found myself in, and perhaps that's why I wasn't so angry initially. But now, I'm wondering what to do. I didn't know she was into girls. She never mentioned anything like that, and now she's cheating on me with one, and we're renting a flat together? Is this just her experimenting? Can we recover? Has anyone been in this situation before? I'm at my wit's end here, people. TLDR, caught girlfriend cheating on me with another girl. Blames me. How the hell does she blame you? That wasn't in the story. What? There must be some stuff in the comments that we're missing some details because... relevant comments. The dandy guy in space said, drop her like it's hot. She's trying to justify being a shitty person that ain't your fault. OP said, that's all I can think of, but there's many other things to consider in all fairness. And then the first commenter said, look, obviously, no one here is going to know the whole story in every detail. Based on information given, it's probably the best course unless you're trying to justify her cheating and looking for validation. That it is actually your fault so you can feel good about staying with her. OP said, I didn't mean consider... I need to breathe. OP said, I don't mean consider from her side. She's done the dirty. I know it. But we literally just committed to 6-month rental. She's texting all the time saying she's sorry. I just don't want to be too rash here. And then the dandy guy in space then commented saying, if you saw her getting ducked by a man, would you still hold the same opinion? OP responded, I guess not. I wanted to tell myself she was maybe just experimenting, but she was clearly going down on this chick, and I honestly don't know how long it's been going on. The dandy guy in space said, cheating is cheating. Doesn't matter if it's a man or a woman, and even if it was experimenting, I'm not gonna expect my SO to be comfortable with her coming home to me effing another dude's butthole because I was curious. Sir! Another comment said, Dave Saucier said, experimenting or not, she cheated on you. Now there's 2 things you can do. Try and patch it up or end the relationship. Another person commented, actually, based on his edit, it more sounds like she used him to hide her sexuality. Oh, there's an edit that we didn't get. Okay. OP said, yeah, to be honest, the more I learn about this, the more it sounds like she was way past experimenting. Another comment said, I mean, she was going down on another girl. I might be able to believe this was an experimenting thing if it was the other way around. But most girls don't just go from 100% straight to eating meow. They just don't. Regardless, it's still cheating. OP commented, honestly, it's the kind of thing that's been going around my mind since it happened. She never let on a single hint that she was anything but straight until the moment I found her between another girl's legs. Feels like the whole thing we had was just a lie. Another person commented, can you go into a little more detail about her absurd reaction? You teased it in the title, but trying to somehow make it out to be my fault didn't really deliver. OP said, well, partly absurd because she was wearing basically nothing out in the hallway where strangers from other flats came and go, and she's historically quite modest. Worse, though, because she said something along the lines of, you said you were leaving for Bristol, which absolutely flabbergasted me. Then the nails in the coffin was, what, so I get all the blame for this? To which I had no apparent... Ma'am? Yes, you get all the blame for this! To which I had no apparent response other than absolute fury, so I took the decision to calmly tell her to go back inside, and I left. Oh, here's the edit to add. Edit. I've read nearly all these comments now, and honestly, you guys are pretty much spot on, I'm afraid. I can't go back to her and keep any shred of dignity. Still can't say the word, but okay. Especially after I found Gallery Girl on Facebook earlier and messaged her. She admitted it's been going on for a while, and is desperate for me not to tell anyone. As much as it would be shitty move, I'm seriously considered outing them both. Don't do that. No. Knowing her friends, the last thing Jess would want is for them to think she's into girls. I know it's petty, but I'm just so mad right now. No. Do not out people. As a demi-bisexual myself, do not out people. We don't out people. That's all I gotta say. Relevant comments. In regard to your edit about outing her, I understand that you already said you wouldn't, but please consider before telling anyone anything, no matter the circumstances. Outing her could put her in physical danger. With her family, her friends, random people on the streets, it's not just a shitty thing to do. It's literally bargaining her physical health, living situation, friendships, relationships, etc. She did a horrible thing, but nothing calls for that. Let the people live in their translucent closets for as long as they want to. Let them live with Tumnus back in Narnia for as long as they want to. We cannot push people out of the closet. Okay. Another comment is, this is the UK. People aren't as bothered about these things as they are in the US. She certainly wouldn't be any physical danger. Pretty much all women I know identify as bisexual. It's not all that surprising when you find out a girl likes being with other women. Still, you don't out people. Especially if she doesn't want her friends to know she's gay or bisexual. OP said, honestly, the only worst thing that would happen to her is that her a-hole friends who she used to make derogatory lesbian jokes with, oh, yay. And they would realize just how much of a effing hypocrite she's been this whole time. Couldn't think of a nicer outcoming for this girl. You would make her lose all her friends. Update, January 9th, 2016, 2 days later. Had a lot of back and forth texts with the ex. She stopped saying she's sorry, instead trying to say that I didn't see what I thought I saw, which is hilarious. You didn't see a naked woman in our bed. You didn't see me under the blankets going down on said naked girl. Ma'am, how delulu do you want us to be? But okay, trying to say I didn't see what I thought I saw, which is hilarious. Here's the kicker though. She told one of our mutual friends, a girl, that we split up because she had a guy around and I hit the roof and overreacted. Wasn't going to divulge the full story to anyone, but after I heard she had said that, I told this mutual friend the whole story. Mutual friend didn't believe me, so I showed her the messages between me and Gallery Girl. Now her friends at least know she's a cheater and a liar. Also, I told the landlord I'd like to take myself off the lease because of this happening, and he looked into it. Hopefully, it can be resolved into the next week or so. I've been getting spammed with texts from Jess today saying I'm heartless and I've ruined her life. Oh, the irony. Well, he outed her. Only because she said it was a guy. I mean, technically, she told a mutual friend, listen, I did cheat, but it was the guy, and he overreacted, and he got mad, and da-da-da-da-da-da-da. And OP is just like, oh, no. Oh, no. It was not with the guy. Try again. And when that friend was like, I don't believe you, OP is like, I have receipts. Here you go. Final comments. While I sit here on my balcony and smoke my last cigarette for today, bedtime, nothing better has ever satisfied this loneliness of mine than reminiscing about a post I read earlier today by OP. And the result being posted with sweet vengeance. Bless you, stranger, you made my heart a little lighter. OP said, obviously it's a shitty situation all around, and honestly I was willing to pretty much let it all slide after I cooled off from yesterday, but lying about me to our mutual friend, nah. We still don't out people, but... Another comment was, ooh, please tell her this, like, not in a way that she can reply back because you should cut her out, but like a snarky note on a bouquet of the cheapest flowers ever, like on a stoop, left on the stoop of your old apartment. She opens the door, reads the start of the note and feels hope, and then you dash it. But I am a vengeful god. Don't take my advice. OP said, haha, that's good advice in my opinion. However, I am in constant discourse with the girl despite the fact that she's talking absolute nonsense. I mean, yeah. Another comment said, well, here's some good advice then. Stop talking to her. There's nothing to gain from it. I mean, come on. She's obviously an idiot. Thinking back to the first post when she was hugging up on Gallery Girl while you were there, how does a person that stupid manage to feed and clothe themselves, OP? OP said, you are correct. After tonight, I dare say we won't speak again. Other than me going over to get my stuff. And then another comment said, she told one of our mutual friends, a girl, that we split up because she had a guy around and I hit the roof and overreacted. Wasn't gonna divulge the full story to anyone, but after I heard she had said that to this mutual friend, I told the mutual friend the whole story. Yeah, I suspect once you start lying like she did, all bets are off. She compounded an already terrible situation. I don't think she thought things through. Technically, she said, yeah, I cheated, but it was with a guy. And OP's just like, no, it wasn't with a guy. Try again. And then OP said, yeah, I tried to explain this to her over text. this was completely on her own doing. She at first claimed I didn't see what I know I saw, then she tried to explain that people might think I'm making it up, clearly not realizing I'd spoke to Galley Girl over Facebook. I showed her the proof, but said I wouldn't out her if she was honest about all of it with our friends. She wasn't honest, so I told them. I really don't know what she thought would happen here. I mean, you did warn her. Be honest. Okay? She was not honest. Another comment was, she stopped to say she's sorry instead of trying to say that I didn't see what I thought I saw. Or she stopped saying sorry. How dumb does she think you are? What was she expecting you to say? Oh, you're right. I didn't see you in bed with someone else. After all, I was just hallucinating. I was so angry my dad was sick and I couldn't go to Bristol that I was just imagining you in bed with another female. I don't know what I was thinking. Opie said, I think she's just in full damage control mode now. And quite frankly, isn't making a lot of sense. She'd rather shift the blame back onto me than confront the fact that her slightly homophobic friends now know she's into girls, so she's panicking. I wouldn't be with the friends if they were homophobic. I mean, granted, it's 2016, but it's one of those, sorry. Especially if I was in the closet until, 2020, so, anyway. But, if I was the friend, or if I was OP's ex-girlfriend, and I was around all these people who were making jokes and all that, I would be more along the lines of, I'm gonna quietly phase you out of my life, not talk to you anymore, sorry. Another comment says, can't help but wonder, do you just have to take a moment and wonder what kind of person you were dating? She just sounds so dumb. OP said, honestly, I know I painted a picture of an incredible stupid girl, but that's what makes her actions here all more shocking to me. She isn't that dumb. I have to believe that her getting caught in a serious compromising position is what led to her to act so stupidly, because I found myself completely dumbfounded at some of the stuff she has said or done since I caught the two of them. What the ex told the friends exactly. I think her implication to the mutual friend was that there was just a guy at our house and no funny business was going on, like there actually was with the girl. One of the comments says as well, it's crazy the amount of people that don't realize exploring one's sexuality without their partner being cool with it is actually cheating. Yeah. I would be, quite mad, you know? Alright, we got another best of Redditor updates, guys. This one is, I want to buy obscene amounts of canned fish across the border for personal consumption. As a person who does not like fish, because it makes her mouth itchy, any and all kinds of fish, be it canned, be it fresh, be it shrimp, be it anything from the water variety, anything that swims makes my mouth itchy. Apparently this one has an happy ending, so editor's note, or this is very silly but made me smile, and now you all know how to bring back obscene amounts of fish from Canada if you ever need. I will not ever need an obscene amount of fish, be it from Canada or Mexico, because I just don't need it. The original post is from October 9th, 2025, so last month. I really enjoy canned fish, and I've been going completely pescatarian recently. I mean, that makes sense. I pretty much eat it every day. There's one type of canned fish sold in Canada that's extremely delicious and healthy, and I would eat it every single day if I could. My girlfriend and I plan to do a day trip across the Blaine border crossing, stay the night, hit up Costco in Vancouver, and buy out their entire supply of these cans before coming back home. Their entire supply? That's a lot of fish. It's a lot of canned fish. I'm pretty sure, because Costco's like a box store, okay? Kind of like Sam's Club. Pretty sure their entire supply is like pallets. Pallets worth. No. It doesn't look like there's any agricultural restrictions on canned goods, and while it appears that Canada makes people pay duties on groceries if you go into the US for less than 48 hours. I can't find any information for the reverse. Okay. We both have Nexus. Do we just declare groceries if we buy an entire year's supply of canned fish? Will it get seized? Will there be duties to pay? I don't know. Thanks for any help and advice you got. I'm just thinking, that's a lot of fish. Anyways, first comment is, going to Costco today. Care to tell me what this canned fish is? OP said, nah. It's none of the below. Gold seal, wild, skinless, boneless mackerel. Canned mackerel is already delicious and low in mercury, but this can takes the cake. I have 2 cans in my pantry that I've been rationing since my last visit, and I only crack them open in the event of celebration, birthday, or wedding. Apparently, Costco stocks a lot of these cans. The person who asked for the fish was just like, beautiful, I'm heading down in half an hour. Have you lived in New England? I could have bought some to you next Boston run. I'm looking forward to trying them. Opie said, oh man, you're too kind, thank you. Canned mackerel is more meaty and, in my opinion, has better texture than canned sardines. It just all sounds so gross to me. Although, both are good. The Gold Seal brand is very tasty, delicious, fatty omega-3 notes when I bite into the meat. Enjoy. Makes me want to break open my second to last can. I just don't like fish. It just makes my mouth itch just thinking. Another comment was, depending on how much you plan to bring back, you might have a hard time convincing the agent that you're importing it for personal consumption. It might be classified as commercial import and may require permits, special documentation, and or prior authorization. It may be a lot easier to bring back a smaller quantity and then make another trip again in a few weeks/months. If the product is made in Canada, US, or Mexico, it will likely qualify for duty-free import under the USMCA exception. If it's made in another country, then you will likely have to pay duties to import it. OP said, looks like it's canned in Poland. The last thing I want to do is abandon these valuable cans for bringing too much. I declared $200 of groceries or something, but if they look at the receipt, it'll say it'll be $200 of canned mackerel. OP replies again, edit, below, consider these claims saying that there's no thrifts of it under $200 in value. Is that true? Is there a rule about the monetary value of food? And another comment said, a product from Poland will be subject to a 50% tariff on the border. Canned mackerel should fall under HS code Y. And then OP just said, F, I guess the only thing I can do is bring back a reasonable amount in a Costco haul. That would only last me 3 weeks without aggressive rationing. Thanks for the information though. Yeah, $200 is your basic exception, but $200 is likely not enough if you plan on buying the entire Costco stock and bringing back 50 pounds of it. Why? Oh, is there an image? Let's see. Yeah, okay, so what OP does with the canned fish, uncan it, lay it in a bed of rice, blast the hell out of it with a torch to get the wok-hee flavor. I don't know what that is because, don't eat fish over here. And add some frittake seasoning, egg, chopped seaweed, and avocado with some grilled onion and bell peppers. Eat that once a day, nothing else, and work out, run every day. I would be starving. I've never been this lean before, and I'm starting to see the faintest outline of my abs appear, which has never happened before. My body fat has always been a bit too high for that. Update, 3 days later, so October 12th, 2025. Hopefully an update post will allow, considering how incredulous people were at the nature of the previous post and the general consensus here. I'll explain below what happened at the border on my way back to the US. He brought back 80 cans or more, I guess. There was an image. Jackpot. I drove up to BC, found that Costco did not stock any of this kind of canned mackerel like I suspected. Bummer. Right next door was a massive store that looked like a Fred Meyer's / Walmart blend called Real Canadian Superstore. I went in there, kind of half dejected, being sure I wasn't going to find anything I wanted, and went to the canned fish section. Lo and behold, on the top shelf was a whole stack of the Gold Seal brand that I was searching for. I spent the next 4 to 5 hours going to multiple Real Canadian Superstores and Save On Foods in the area, buying out their entire stock of Gold Seal cans, which was usually only 24 cans each. I think I spent around $290 on all these cans. Finally, I had almost 100 cans accumulated, which is a huge win. These can easily last me months without significant rationing. 2 cans per meal, maybe having a gold seal meal 4 times a week, and sardines or fresh fish 3 times a week. So about 3 months, unless I taper off the OMD canned fish diet before then. I.e., only do the diet on weekdays, which would stretch the supply for months longer. Ugh. When I came back to the border, I had all the fish cans in my trunk, interspersed with my luggage. The border guard asked us what we had. We told him we had some snacks. He asked what kind of snacks. I told him we brought some Korean sweets, ramen noodles, and canned fish. He asked about alcohol, which I didn't have, and that was that. Edit, because the above paragraph was causing controversy and dishonesty. Let me add some additional information. I drove up with the receipts in my hand from all the stores I had visited, including non-canned fish items I purchased. The agent didn't seem interested in my snacks or my canned fish and asked about any other items I had, like alcohol or commercial items. Obviously, I had none of that, which is why their interaction was so straightforward. Monetary amounts, receipts were right there in my hand if he had asked for them. I just didn't volunteer any extra information which wasn't required to answer his questions. TLDR, not only was crossing the border no big deal at all, and I was worrying myself for no reason. The fish he wanted was in Canada and easily attainable, and he was able to get 100 cans. Relevant comments was, I'm glad you managed to cross without incident, but some and snacks are certainly not representative of what you did have with you. I suspect that would have been challenged at any secondary inspection, or even had they taken a quick look at your items, OP said. If they asked more questions about my canned fish, I would have given them truthful answers. Then what? I'd have to pay 15% duty if the officer decided I should. Okay, fine. I'll pay it. No lying here, just not immediately blurting out, oh my god, I have an obscene amount of canned fish in my trunk. This sub always says to give truthful answers, but not volunteer any additional information when that's what they ask for. Somebody else commented, hello, this is U.S. Border Security. If you could call us at 555-3267, that would be great. And OP responded, sorry, officer, you can't have any. Another person said, brother, if you phone ahead to such places, they'll put in a bulk order for you so you aren't emptying their shelves, and you can pick it up from the back loading dock. OP said, I'll use this next time. Hopefully this will come in handy for me when my current supply is running out. OP adds, they said they had resupplied daily. Mind you, when you look at those pictures of the fish, those cans are about yay big. If you're watching on YouTube, they're yay big. They're tiny little cans, just cans like sardine cans of mackerel. And he bought 100 of them. That's an excessive amount of fish. I don't like fish. Like I said in the beginning, just thinking about it makes my mouth itchy. Next story is from r/Walmart. Do I have an ethics complaint? I think I do. Listen, when it comes to ethics in Walmart, if you feel like your store isn't going to do it or take it seriously, take it to ethics. Backdoor them. It's an open door policy, but, anyways. We, ACC, Auto Care Center, for anybody who doesn't know, have messed up and installed a customer's tires on a vehicle a few days ago. He was understandably upset. We refunded the tires he didn't have. While helping him create a new appointment and reorder tires, I found him the same tires, 20 a tire cheaper. I mean, yay, cheaper. We were also waiving the install fee. He was belittling me and name-calling me aggressively the entire time. I asked him to stop. Then I understood that he was upset, but we were making it right and getting it done $150-ish cheaper than it would have. I mean, $150 cheaper. Great. He kept going, so I refused service. I went out to the techs and told them that they could help him if they wanted to. He went to the coach, who forced me to come back and was demanding me to serve him. I told the coach I refused service and I grabbed a tech to show him which tires to get, but the coach said, no, you serve him. I did the least amount possible because I wasn't comfortable serving him and had the tech do the rest. The entire time the coach was being rude to the tech and myself in front of the customer. I tried to talk to the coach after with a witness, but the coach said they had other stuff to do and walked off. Excusez-moi? Huh? Oh yeah, no, I would have gone to ethics. Full on. I mean, technically you're supposed to go to the coach's coach, or the coach's boss, sorry, which would be the store lead. And then you would go to, if the store lead didn't listen, you would go to the store manager. And if the store manager wouldn't listen, then you go to ethics. But I would have gone to ethics. Jumped over everybody's head. Does the tech and I have an ethics complaint? For me, the coach forcing me to serve a customer that was verbally abusive to me, and both of us for the coach being rude to us in front of the customer. Would it be under something else, or am I SOL on this? And will getting fired for insubordination? I would have gone to ethics too. Okay, so here's my experience, okay, with ethics. So I called ethics on my coach because I had broken my wrist. And so I honestly felt like this coach was trying to get me fired and or make my life a living hell at work, to where I would be like, I'm done, I'm out, peace out, I quit, And I was like, nah, I ain't having any of that, because I had broken my wrist. I was supposed to be on light duty at the phone operator, playing operator all day. And she told me that no, in the morning, because my hours are 6 to 3, and from 6 to 7, the phones weren't back where the operator was. So from 6 to 7, I was to walk the store and do all the feature changes one-handed, which means I would have to use my work phone, scan the feature location, scan all the items on the feature to make sure they're in there, and then update the features. And I was like, yeah, sure, let me just do this one-handed. That's great, Sometimes the items are heavy, or I'd have to hold, because I was not in a cast. I was in an Exos cast, but that took like a month for them to actually give it to me. So the whole of October, I was there in a sling like this, going like, trying to scan stuff. For the people who are listening, that just probably sounded weird. But, yeah. So later on, it got to the point where I was in my Exos cast and I was still not allowed to lift anything. I was still on light duty. I was supposed to be on the phones. And she's like, no, we need you back in our department. You can do one-handed picks. And I was like, okay. Because, she's my boss. But I'm just like, this is effed up. She had me on exceptions. I was doing one-handed picks. I wasn't allowed to touch oversized. And everybody's just like, but why is she skipping over this when we're not supposed to skip it? I'm like, oh, I'm over here in a fucking cast, you know? Yeah, it got to the point where one day I was just fed up and I called ethics and I told them what was happening. And from that day on, my coach was hella nicer to me. And then it got to the point where she tried to kick me off exceptions after my wrist healed. And I was like, you know what? Fine. Put me in dispensing and staging. I don't care. Put me on picking. Whatever. Take me off exceptions. I'm tired of this. And so I was no longer on exceptions. And then when she left and an old coach that we used to have came back, he tried getting me back on exceptions. And I was like, no, I like being in staging. Leave me back here. And he's just like, but I like you better on the floor. You're better on the floor. And I was like, I'm good wherever I'm at. It doesn't matter where I'm at. I'm good at my job. And he's like, I know, but I like you better on exceptions and on the floor. And I was like, listen, after what I went through with her, no. And he goes, but I'm not her. And I was like, I don't care if you're not her. I don't want to be put in that situation again. So, yeah, I barely go on exceptions now. So, yay. She also took away my store capabilities. For anybody who doesn't know what that is, it's the part where you can see how the picks are going and all that. And sometimes you can accept substitutions and all that, or reject them. And she took that away from me, and I was joking with my friend who I called out in the first episode, Hannah, because I said I could easily just get it back, but since I had the abilities from the beginning to the point where they took them away from me, they had changed how you can give the people options like my store and all that. And it's one of those, they had changed it to where it's only on the team leads' phones and devices and not on the computer like it was before. So I didn't know how to give it back to myself, and I couldn't give it back to myself even if I wanted to, which I didn't want to because I was tired of all the bickering. And yeah, so I got in trouble for that. And then when one of my ex-friends became a team lead, she talked that coach and my other team lead into giving me back my store because she said I would need it eventually. And then they said, we're giving it back to you, but on a trial basis, and I've had it ever since. So it's whatever. Yeah, but ethics is helpful when you need it. So, yeah. Relevant comments. If the customer is being belligerent, you don't have to help them. They tell us to remove ourselves from hostile situations, and that's what you did. Sounds like your lead/coach should have been handling it and wasn't. Another person says, sounds like the customer was being unreasonable. At that point, I'm finding someone in upper management. Once the belittling starts, I'm done with you. OP edited, the tires were installed on a different customer's car. That matter will be taken care of with the tech separately. Especially if the tire... Okay, so that's a bit concerning, because if the customer ordered the tires online, when they come in, they should have stickers with his name on it. I don't know how that happened. That was a mixture of everybody's fault there. Alright, next story. It's from AITA, sorry. Am I the a-hole for having my friend's toddler take her first steps while her parents weren't there? So, I'm friends with this guy that I've known since kindergarten. He got married some years ago, and now him and his wife have a little baby girl, and she's currently at toddler age. I come over often enough that I'm used to seeing the little bugger, and she's great. I don't have any other little kids from family or anything in my life, so it's been great seeing a little human grow. Everybody loves a little human. I got a little human picture right here, and she's not mine, she's my niece, and I love her very much. Every once in a blue moon, they ask me to watch her for a few hours while my friend and his wife get some date time or whatever they need to do. So I was hanging out with her, and I know that they've been trying to get her to take her first steps. I read about a trick where if you make them hold something then they will walk without holding onto a surface. So I gave her a toy and filmed it, and it worked. I mean, you filmed it. I sent the video to them, and my friend didn't care. He was just happy, but his wife was pissed. She was mad at me that they weren't there for a big moment. I didn't have the type of relationship with her where I can have a deep one-on-one with her, but I talked to my friend about it, and he's not upset with me, but his wife still is. She thinks I robbed her of a key moment. I did get it on film, but I get what she's saying. I had no malicious intent, but was I the a-hole for getting the toddler to take those first steps? In my opinion, no, but Reddit has deemed this person the a-hole. My opinion is no, you got it on film, you recorded it, you sent it to your friend. Hello? Relevant comments is, note to everyone, if someone else's kid has a first something in your care, they didn't. You take that information to your grave. And another comment was, my wife works in a daycare, and this was unwritten, but certainly communicated policy. If my kid was starting walking when my wife wasn't around, I didn't have a phone handy, I might have to trip her myself. No, we do not trip children. Not sure how tripping your wife will help the situation, but I trust the process. My niece was just starting tummy time, and my sister said she couldn't hold herself up with her arms yet. It was just me and the baby, and she did it, and then I gasped and swiped her hand because I panicked and was like, no one's here. It's honestly one of my biggest regrets with the baby. Like, why did I do that? Oh my god. Okay, that's just hilarious though. You had great intentions, but panic extension of those intentions. Eat kid dirt, or eat dirt kid. Phew, that was a close one. That was a, look, I can lift myself. No, you can't. Yeet. I'm a mom of an only child, and quite frankly, I don't remember when she took her first steps, and I don't give a either. I'd appreciate my friend helping my child, and also that she filmed it if this happened to me. I'm a mom, and I also don't care. My son was a late walker, so we were slightly concerned about if he needed PT. His daycare videotaped his first steps and sent it to us. It was still cool to see him walk when I first saw it the first time. I totally get that it's polite to wait to tell parents, especially if it's a moment where they were away for a short time, but it's always cool when kids first start walking. I think the comments are like a mixture of half and half, that he's not the a-hole because he recorded it, and some moms and dads don't care because, you know, they got to see their kid walk in the end. And when they get to see it themselves, they're just like, oh, okay, yay. AITH for telling my father and his girlfriend that the gift she got me was creepy and invasive. Listen, just from the title alone, no. Nobody likes a creepy and invasive gift. Okay. I am expecting my first child due in February. This is the first grandchild on both sides, so everyone is very excited about it. My father's girlfriend, Lena, fake name, and I have an okay relationship. But we're very different people. I don't like most of the things she likes and vice versa. It's no bad blood between us, but she can be pretty pushy sometimes. So we're not exactly close. One of the biggest differences between me and Lena, is our stance on influencer culture. She loves it, I don't. Since I got pregnant, she's been sending me posts on Instagram of random influencers talking about their experience with childbirth and motherhood, etc. A few months ago, one of her favorite influencers gave birth and filmed the whole thing. No. She posted a cutesy, poorly edited video of the baby being born and her entire family watching from the outside of the living room. No thank you. That's a very intimate moment. If I'm giving birth, the only people seeing me give birth would be, my partner and my mother, because those are the only two people who should be staring at my vajayjay, you know? And the doctor, obviously, because they're trained to look at the vajayjay. But, no. No. She posted a cutesy, poorly edited video of the baby being born and her entire family watching from outside the delivery room, with country music playing in the background. Lana sent me the video, and I remember telling her I'd never do something like that. Okay, so you set a boundary. You said point blank, no, that's creepy, that's gross. No. My husband and I celebrated Christmas at my cousin's place with the rest of my family. When it was time for us to exchange and open our gifts, Lena gave me an envelope. Inside was a videographer's business card. She told me she was hiring him to film my birth. No, absolutely not. Ma'am, that is not your decision. That is my decision. Get that away. No, shoo. No. I seriously couldn't imagine being filmed while going through a medical procedure, and I don't want anyone besides my husband at the hospital with me. I've been clear about this since I announced my pregnancy. She set her preference and boundaries as soon as she got pregnant. No, ma'am. No. I didn't want to embarrass Lena, so I thanked her when she gave me the card. Yesterday, my husband and I had lunch with her and my father, and I told her that while I appreciated her gesture, I didn't feel comfortable with a videographer. I said she didn't have to get me anything else for Christmas, but I'd appreciate it if she didn't hire him. Both her and my father got offended. Why? Ugh. And we ended up having an argument. At one point, Lena started crying and said she couldn't understand why I'd pass up on the opportunity of creating such a beautiful memento of my child's birth, because the only person I want seeing my vajayjay is my husband, and I told you this. Ma'am? I replied that I found the idea of having someone film me during such a vulnerable moment to be creepy and invasive, and this wasn't the first time I expressed I was uncomfortable with it. My father said it was rude of me to say that and refuse the gift, and he's very disappointed in me. My husband agrees with me, as does pretty much my whole family. I don't really think I did anything wrong, but my father's reaction is freaking me out. This is when you tell your father, no. Just because you get to have relations with your teeny bopper, I love influencers, I want to watch the influencers give birth girlfriend, does not mean I want your teeny bopper, I like influencers, I want to watch influencers give birth to children and your daughter's children to watch me give birth. Nor do I want a random photographer that I don't know to watch me give birth. I just want my husband in the birthing room. Hello? Relevant comments. Not the a-hole. Do not tell them when you're in labor, and tell the hospital that both of them aren't allowed in the delivery room. I can see Lena whipping out her phone. And if your dad doesn't got your back during that moment, that is purely yours and your husband's, then he can wait outside too. Opie said, I don't plan on saying anything until the baby's here. Go OP. I wonder if she has an update. Apparently, girlfriend is in her 40s. One of the arguments her father used to defend Lena was that he's already seen childbirth twice and it's not such a big deal. Both me and my sister were born through C-section, and even those were huge deals for my mom. Okay, so he's seen childbirth twice, but he's seen C-sections. He did not see the baby coming out of the vajayjay, okay? He does not get to be like, oh, it's no big deal. For you, it's not a big deal. For me, it is. I am not having somebody record my intimate moment. Thank you, not thank you. But yeah, no update from OP. But yeah, I would throw OP's dad's girlfriend out a window if it was plausible. But no, tell the nurse's staff and everything like that that she is not allowed anywhere near your room. Because I would feel uncomfortable too. And Opie's father is just saying that it's no big deal because he's got to have children and his girlfriend has not. So, and she's just like, but I want to experience childbirth. And he's just like, I don't want any more children. And next story. It's from r/entitled people. Entitled Psycho demands a discount on her cheesecake and vandalizes the store my husband works at. Y'all, this shit right here is crazy and I'm completely mind-boggled. Not only was this woman entitled, but she was totally freaking batshit psycho. I love crazy people. Okay, so my husband works at a little grocery store on the outskirts of town. All the employees are really tight-knit and do not take no shit. Now that I've set the scene, let me get into the actual story. That's a hell of a scene you set there. My husband is working the register, and this middle-aged woman with RBF, for people who don't know, resting bee face, walks in and marches straight to the pastry aisle like she's on a dang mission. She gets to looking around, and all of a sudden, she's stomping her feet and huffing and puffing and just really causing a scene. She picks up a cheesecake, stomps over to the register, and slams it down so hard it literally almost pops open. Dang. Lady, excuse me, this was just on sale last week, and now it's $11? I refuse to pay that. My husband, okay, nobody's forcing you to? Lady, rolling her eyes and making a disgusted face. No shit. Nobody's gonna make me do anything. What I'm trying to say is this was just on sale last week. If you guys were going to end the sale so soon, there should have been some kind of sign saying that. My husband, excuse me, ma'am? I don't know where you're used to shopping at, but that's not a requirement. And I'm gonna need you to lower your voice because there are customers here, and you're causing an unnecessary scene. Lady, giving him a death glare. Who the hell do you think you are? Where is your manager? Manager literally walks up at that very moment. Manager, the cheesecake is $11, ma'am. You can either pay it or you can leave. It's your choice. Lady, I'm not going anywhere until I get what was promised to me. This was on sale last week. There is no sign saying the sale was about to end. You owe me a discount. It was on sale last week. Manager, I don't owe you a damn thing. You can leave my store or I'm calling the police. We've done asked you to lower your voice and you're standing here causing a scene. Leave or go to jail. Meanwhile, my husband is already calling the police because the lady's literally up in the manager's face. He said they argued back and forth for another 2 to 3 minutes, but he couldn't hear what they were saying because he was on the phone with dispatch. He walks up after dispatch says that the police should be pulling up any time and lets the lady know that the police are getting ready to be there and she needs to leave. Mind you, this was already the 5th time she's been told to leave, so she stomps off huffing and puffing saying, I'll show you a GD scene. So I'm guessing GD means goddamn. So, I'll show you a goddamn scene. Throws the freaking cheesecake on the floor, the lid pops off and it splatters everywhere. Then, as she walks out, she swipes a bunch of scheisse off the shelves with her arms. Oh, yay. She made it to the parking lot when the police pulled up. She was still screaming. Mad as hell over that dang cheesecake, y'all. They took her to jail and charged her with, if I'm not mistaken, disorderly conduct for screaming and yelling, and acting like a freaking idiot, trespassing because she was asked to leave several times and she refused, and criminal mischief/vandalism for knocking all the stuff off the shelves and throwing the cheesecake. LMFAO, play stupid games and win stupid prizes. Bye, Karen. Edit to add, for those who are accusing me of using AI, please stop with this BS already. You have absolutely no proof. Even if I did so, why argue about it? It's immature and pointless. Not all of us have to make up stories for fake internet points. Good grief. Reread the post, y'all. Does it really sound like AI to you? Last time I checked, AI does not speak with a southern accent. Oh, y'all need to get a life. Y'all ain't even detectives. So do Reddit a favor and stop acting like it. It's annoying as fuck. We done ask you to lower your voice. The most southern manager sentence ever. I didn't clock it. I was just reading it in a southern accent because I have a southern accent. Kinda. Get me around certain people and it will come out fully. Haha. And the police are getting ready to be here. Manager, y'all go on, get out of here. Oh, now you just sound like my mama. That's her favorite saying ever. Get on out of here, or get on down the road. That woman obviously had no home training. This is the most southern thing I have ever said in my recent transplant 2 years. My southern grandma would always say, some people can't be taught. School's out, no class. For people like in OP's story. Right after saying, bless her heart, right? My Kentucky wife used the phrase, when we had youngins in the house. I'm from New England, and I used to joke that I wasn't sure that she was speaking English. I've never seen it spelled out enough. Go on, get. LOL. Oh, OP said, you want to know what's even funnier? I had originally written, the police are fixing to be here, but I went back and changed it. LOL. I'm pretty sure I originally read it fixing to mind my mind, honestly. I'm a Texan and I agree. No, the correct way, the southern way is, the police are fixing to be here. As I'm from the south, deep south, and use that all the time, trust me, I'm a Texan. I agree. The police are fixing to be here. All these comments are going to bring out my southern. I should really stop reading them. Hopefully her brush with the law will straighten her up. Sometimes that's all it takes. Even one night in the jail traumatizes and scares the hell out of them. Because it's insane in there. Whatever you expect jail to be like, it's probably gonna be worse. OP responds with, not when you're homeless, trust me. When you have nowhere else to go, it's a freaking walk in the park. 3 hot meals, a bed to sleep in, shit. I know people who wait till wintertime, go out, do dumb shit on purpose just so they can get locked up. Because they literally have nowhere else to sleep. It's pretty sad. And then the person about the jail said, true. When I was homeless, I didn't think I would survive if I didn't have my car. Now, every time I go anywhere, I see so many homeless people where I live. It was so bad we had to move out of downtown because people were coming up to our gates constantly asking for things. And my boyfriend especially gave away too much stuff, which seems counterintuitive. But we became a magnet and we had people even sleeping in front waiting for us to leave and arrive to ask for things. My boyfriend was the one that witnessed most of it. One woman even shat on our sidewalk because she was mad that she didn't get what she wanted. Oh, yay. I wondered why the townhouse was surrounded by tall spiked fence and locked up like Fort Knox when we moved into the city last year. But I understand now. I'm not complaining about the homeless people. They're shoved into the situation and only surviving. I'm complaining about the lack of care and empathy and support. They're not choosing to live like this. Everyone should have a safe place to sleep and enough to eat at the absolute bare minimum. Next story. Am I the a-hole for wearing a white dress to the wedding? So we have a text message thing at the top. But first I'll read the thing. 6 months ago, it was my 28F best friend Leslie's 28F wedding. It was a beautiful affair and I was her maid of honor. This will be important later. Okay. You wore white? Okay. Anyway, last week was my own wedding to my now husband Leslie, 45 male. I know, it's a wacky coincidence that they have the same name. Before the wedding, he kept asking to see the dress, but it's tradition that the groom can't see the bride's dress before the wedding, or there'll be bad luck. True. Okay. On the day, I was very excited, but when I came walking down the aisle, Leslie, my now husband, immediately looked uncomfortable, and I noticed his groomsmen laughing and elbowing each other. The wedding went without a hitch, or so I thought. The reception was a little rowdy, but that's how Leslie's, my now husband's, friends can be. I love how she keeps putting in parentheses, my now husband, not to get us confused with her best friend. But that's how Leslie, my now husband's, friends can be, particularly Brandon. On our wedding night, Leslie, my now husband, couldn't perform, if you know what I mean. He's also been distant ever since. I confided in Leslie, my best friend, and she said to confront Leslie, my now husband. I did, and he said I had humiliated him because only virgin brides are supposed to wear white. That is so old. What? And he had been telling his bros how much sex we've had ever since our first date, so I made him look like a liar. I then confided in Leslie, my mother, who I'll call by her first name, because I'm cool, and she said, Leslie, I am so confused. Why is everybody's name Leslie? I then confided in Leslie, my mother, who I call by her first name because I'm cool, and she said Leslie, my now husband, was right. Meanwhile, Leslie, my father, took my side and offered to beat up Leslie. Ah! What sub am I in? I'm the angel. No. No. Ah, so this is am I the angel, not am I the a-hole. Got it. Okay. Oh, this post is satire. Oh my god, it's making fun of wedding posts. I was so confused with all the Leslies. Okay. Look at the... I was about to have an aneurysm. Okay. Let's go for some petty revenge. Okay. This story is called Dickish Kid Doesn't Give Up Train Seat, So I Make Him. So I, 22 male, had to take the metro to go somewhere today, and it was pretty full, but I noticed there was a teenager, 16-ish male, taking up 5 spaces with his bag and him laying down, and he was playing music loudly with his phone. I politely asked him to move his bag so I could sit, and he rolled his eyes, smirking and said, Nah, I don't think so, man. Sir, that's very impolite for the train. Okay. This annoyed me greatly, and if it wasn't for his tone and the music, I probably wouldn't have escalated harder, but I just grabbed his bag, felt the weight to check for electronics, and then threw it somewhere further along the train. Of course, he instantly got mad and asked me the F I was doing, and I better go get his bag. Then I just told him he could either fight me or go get his bag himself. Unfortunately, I'm 90 kilos and pretty strong, and he was some lanky teenager. I didn't think he expected that, but after 5 seconds, he went to get his bag. I took the space and invited other standing people to sit down. He came back to no space and started yelling at us. I reminded him again the only way I would move were if he would start a fight with me. Again, he seemed to consider, but ended up storming away eventually. I get that I'm kind of the bully in this situation, but man, some people just need to learn that the world doesn't cater to them. Nah, I approve. He was taking up 5 seats. Hello? He didn't need to take up 5 seats. He just needed to take up 1 and put the bag by his feet. Like, I live in Florida and we don't have trains where I live, but I know that much. Like, I've been to New York, never been on the trains, but I've been to New York. Like, and I've seen videos of trains in other country and how people are much nicer. Yeah, all the people in the comments agree that he is not the asshole and that he did something good. And a lot of them are saying, not all heroes wear capes. I love it. r/retail hell. I tried to warn you. A lady came through the self-checkout, wanting me to check her out on the pay station. Problem is, our pay station doesn't work properly. It takes 4 minutes to load between putting in our username and password, then another 5 minutes to load the scanning screen. I told her this, but she wasn't convinced and shoved her Diet Coke at me to scan, and stands next to me and to watch the screen to see if I was lying to her. Surprise, surprise. When I said it takes about 9 to 10 minutes just to get to the proper screen, I mean it takes 9 to 10 minutes to get to the proper screen. Now, it's not like the bullpen was busy or anything. There were 8 self-checkout kiosks that she could have gone to and been done with the transaction before even letting me put in my password. Then she became very upset with the fact that she had to wait so long for one item. I'm sorry. I tried to warn you. Like, ma'am? I tried. You didn't listen. I guess. First comment says, Some customers seem to think that everyone is deliberately lying to them. Apparently, there's some evil conspiracy that every retail worker has universally agreed upon its secret meeting held in an underground caves. They ask a question and then refuse to believe the answer that is given to them because they know better than the employees who run the store for years. Somebody commented under that. We also agree when an item is out of stock as well. If you ask me and I say sorry, it's out of stock, you walk to the next employee to ask for said item, and that employee will tell them the same thing. Even better when the other employee asks me about said item. Love that. I had a lady ask me for an item. I had literally walked her to it. She screamed at me that it wasn't what she wanted and I was lazy. She then went and asked my cashier, who sent her to the exact spot I did. Then she asked a third employee to talk to the manager, who sent her back to me. LOL. Like, hello? What? Let's see. Ah, yes, the old surprise Pikachu face when things don't go exactly the way they were told they'd go. Right? I tried to explain to people that our only loader is with a customer and that he'd be with them as soon as he'd finish. But it might be 10 minutes or more. Guess who's back 3 minutes later demanding to know why no one has come to load their items that they usually could have gotten themselves. I love people. When customers think that we're cashiers and have us ring something at the pay station, I just stare at them for a while like I have no idea what they're trying to do, then ask if they need help scanning something. Works every time. Gotta extend this to people who try to have us scan something for them. I'm getting sick of it. It's self-checkout for a reason. Oh, dude, I go to self-checkout, okay, and I'm on my break, so here's me holding my items, like quite literally holding my items in my hand, and my hair is tucked back now because I'm on break, so you can now see my headphones, you know? Because I will put my headphones in and go to break. And I'm over there scanning, and then I'll feel somebody just like looking at me from the side, and I'll look at them, and they'll be like, "Can you help me?" I was like, "I'm not a cashier. I'm buying my own stuff for my break." And they're just like, "Oh, I didn't know. You didn't see me scanning things? Like, hello?" Ugh. I swear, some people. I love my job. I do. I swear I do. So, remember I had another story like this, with the register thing. So I went and found it for you guys. So this one is, I can't ring you up without a register. I work at a grocery store. I help the bakery and deli with cakes and party platter orders. Yesterday, a woman came up to the deli counter to pick up her sandwich tray and told me she was in a hurry and needed me to ring her up ASAP. We don't have a register at the deli counter. I told her so and directed her to customer service. She shook her head, and this was the convo that followed. Lady: all the lines are long. I don't have time to wait. Me: that's unfortunate, but like I said, I don't have a way to ring you up. Lady: well, can I just take it and come back and pay later? Me: no. Lady: I promise I'll come back. Me: we can't do that for you. You have to pay before you leave. The woman proceeds to demand a manager and waste more time pouting and bitching when she could have just made the line to check out. Manager told her the same thing. Please make a line. No, we can't let you pay later. There is no honor system. She got into a line and grumbled the whole time, apparently. It took all of 5 minutes to get through the line. She wasted more time arguing, wanting to see a manager, than just going to go pay for it. Like, ma'am, if you wanted it for free, you could have just said so. Like, hello? I think not. Next story is a best of Redditor update. My 24 female boyfriend, 26 male, found a secret of mine and won't leave me alone because of it. This one has a trigger warning for misogyny, bullying, shaming, and slut shaming. Alright, the original post was September 13, 2017, so not that long ago. I'm a writer, a serious writer who got her first book published and a few poems that made its way to a local paper. I make a living of it. I also have a very secret blog that I use to publish fan fiction under a pseudonym. I know when we mention fan fiction, the first thing that comes to mind is that I'm an obsessed fangirl who writes countless of OCs and all of them are in love with an alter ego of myself and blah blah. No, I just really like exploring my favorite characters and the universe they live in. If I'm reading a book, playing a game, watching a movie, I sometimes think, what if? And I write it out. That's been my secret for a long while now. It used to be. I mean, when I was in high school, we used to do that too, but we'd add ourselves to the stories. So, like, we'd be watching, Lord of the Rings, okay? And we give ourselves character dynamics, okay? Like, I would be with Gandalf learning to be a wizard, and one of my friends would be an elf, and another one would be a dwarf or a hobbit, and, like, we'd give ourselves scenarios and be like, we'd go on this adventure with them, and this is what we do. It's full on. And then it's just one of those. It got to the part where Gandalf was just like, you shall not pass, you know? And they're just like, Paula, would you dive in after Gandalf, or would you stay with us? I was like, oh no. His adventure afterwards makes him Gandalf the White instead of Gandalf the Grey. I might dive after him, you know? But, like, you guys would probably need a wizard. But, like, I'd go after my mentor. Level up some more, you know? It's one of those. But, yeah. Anyways, my boyfriend found my blog when I forgot to clear out my history on my laptop. I don't hide stuff from him. It's just a habit I picked up when I was a child and hit that curious about porn phase. We had a family computer, and if I didn't clear the history, I'd get caught, so I always do this. Habits, you know? He was mocking me for it. I'm not fragile. I can take a mocking every now and then, if I know it's not really malicious. My boyfriend, on the other hand, keeps laughing and making jokes about me being a Tumblr girl, about me wanting to be with those characters and so on. He obviously did not read your stories. It's to the point he read a few and started nitpicking and making fun of some of it. Okay, so if he's reading some and nitpicking it, then he should know that you're not the typical Tumblr girl or fanfiction writer and wanting to be with the characters and so on. He knows that what you're writing. So that just makes me mad. I talked to him. He dismissed me. I finally snapped yesterday when he came over and I was writing, again, for the local paper. He said, writing your weird smut fanfiction, fangirl? Oh, hell no. Bitch, this is how I make a living. Excuse you? Doesn't mean if he's joking or not. Jokes are meant to be funny. If I am not laughing, you are not funny. He meant it as a joke. He laughed, but I was already so cranky that I told him to leave. He looked at me puzzled and said he was kidding, but I kicked him out. Good on you. English is not my native language. I started learning English when I was 9 years old because there was no one to write and read fan fiction in this particular fandom I was into in my native language. Because of it, I discovered how much I love writing. Because of it, I learned English and it saved my life when I needed a job, but was inexperienced in a lot of things. But man, I could speak and write English fluently, and all thanks to writing fan fiction. It means a lot to me, and I'm not hurt that most people think it's silly and make fun of fan fiction writers. I'm hurt because the boy I love is being horrible about it, and I'm this close to breaking up. I don't deserve to be mocked for something I like, especially when I don't judge him for stuff he likes. He wants to come over, but he doesn't think he's wrong, and he doesn't see how his behavior is hurting me. I would be petty about this. Be full on, be like, and start using his, like, things that he likes, be like, oh, look at you, and start making jokes about it, and be like, and if he was like, that's not funny, and you'd be like, I'm just joking. You were joking before. Why can't I joke now about what you like to do? Huh? I learned a long time ago not to be ashamed of doing something that brings me joy, especially when times are hard enough already. But it hurts so much that my boyfriend thinks I'm a loser, and I don't know what to do. I'm starting to see him differently. I would full on, just start nitpicking and making jokes about what he likes. But I'm just that petty person. Edit. This blew up in a way I didn't expect. I want to answer everyone, and I will try to, but to clear some things up. I don't think my boyfriend was snooping. I always clear my history out of habit, and this time I left it there. It most likely came up in the search bar since he told me he just found it there. The problem here is not my sense of humor. It's the fact that when I told him I wrote fics and came clean about it, I was laughing with him. Then the mockery started for the next few days. I was a crazed fangirl in his eyes, and he wouldn't let it go. That is not having a sense of humor. That's someone I love being hurtful towards me on purpose, even though I told him to knock it off. Right? You set your boundaries. You told him, stop. It's no longer funny. I don't find it funny. Leave it alone. And he is constantly making jokes, and it's not funny. And you're just like, it's not funny. Knock it off. Stop it. We are currently not talking. He thinks I'm being oversensitive, and I'm here reading your replies. I haven't let him come to my house yet, and won't until I think of something to tell him. I already have something in my head thanks to you guys. This is the first time I see my boyfriend acting this way. I wouldn't be with him if he's been like this since the start. This is the first time, and it's probably why I'm so shocked here. I'm hurt. A joke or two is fine. Straight up mean mockery? No. I don't know if he got jealous. I don't know if the content of the stories bothered him. I don't know. I plan on finding out though. Edit 2. I'm meeting with him later today. We're going to talk. But again, to clear up any confusion, I did not kick him out completely out of nowhere. He was not confused why I snapped. When he started teasing, it was okay at the first couple of times. Then he started mocking and reading the fics just to make fun of it. He read parts back to me while laughing and making fun of me in a way that wasn't a joke or him seeing me as one of the guys. Yeah, no, I would full on start making fun of his likes and be like, oh, it's just a joke. But anyways, update September 17th, 2017, 4 days later. I want to start this by clearing up some confusion. He and I have teased each other before. I teased my best friend and she teases me back. Stupid, trash teasing. I still have some of my earliest fics in English and my grammar was awful. Really awful with sentence like, and he tried to think not about her. She throws that sentence back at me all the time. And it's always in good heart. It's always in a, oh God, look at the shit you used to write and look at you now. This is not what happened with my SO and I. He went out of his way to make me feel uncomfortable and hurt. This is why I came here for help, because someone I love was being cruel out of nowhere. And so, for the sake of this update, I need you guys to keep in mind that I'm in no way ashamed of writing fics and that my SO's behavior is more than strange and cruel. He had never acted this way before. So I met him the day after so we could talk. He was pissed because I kicked him out, and I was pissed because of his behavior. Both of us are equally mad. We went home, and I went straight up asking why my fics bothered him so much. He kept saying it didn't, that he was just having fun and all, and I explained to him how he made me feel. He snorted. I told him that if he wasn't going to take this seriously, then he could leave again and not come back. After a while and a brief discussion about him being incredulous that I was so upset over nothing, he finally told me the real reason behind his actions, that he doesn't feel comfortable with me writing sex scenes. Oh, I'm sorry. Excuse you? A lot of authors write sex scenes. Teen authors write sex scenes. Sometimes they're not really good, but I was reading 50 Shades of Grey in high school. That's another story. Anyways, this came out of nowhere. And even when this issue was discussed, here I was like, nah, he would never have a problem with it. He even praised the one in my book. Well, I asked him exactly that. Why did he praise the one in my book? Why did he encourage me to write more of it? He said he hasn't stopped to think about the consequences. That when I wrote it in my book, he didn't know or see how many people enjoyed it. When he read the ones on my blog, he could see how many people reblogged it. He could see the comments, he could see everything, and it bothered him because I was his girlfriend. Okay, I asked him what he meant by that, and he said I was putting myself out there by writing this stuff. I held back the urge to snap and calmly asked him, again, what the hell he meant by that. He said he knew how guys think and that they were seeing how easy I was and I'd soon be getting stalkers because, and I quote, I like sex like a slut. Isn't that lovely? So when male authors write sex scenes, it's fine. If female authors do it, it makes them sluts? No. Kick him to the curb. He pisses me off. He quickly tried to fix it and tell me that he didn't mean it like that. He meant that I write detailed and explicit scenes and it might give people the wrong idea. Well, when I read a book about that, I don't want it to be, and he grabbed her mounds when he's talking about her boobs, and it's, that would just throw me off the scene altogether, and I'd be like, nope, absolutely not. Like, we would make fun of that stuff in high school when we see that. And now when I'm reading books, I don't want to see that. I want this style. If you can't see that, that's For Whom the Bell Tolls. I want that kind of, like, heat and all that. When her and Belle start trying things and all that. And, like, I want to be pulled in. I don't want to have one word full on, I'm starting going in and all of a sudden, nope. No. He quickly tried to fix it and tell me that he didn't mean it like that. He meant that I write detailed and explicit scenes and that it might give people the wrong idea. I asked him if I gave him the wrong idea when we have sex, and he just shut up. I think he realized then how much of an idiot he was because he started apologizing. I just ended it. I ended it and changed my blog URL. He's been calling and calling and calling, texting nonstop that he's sorry and I can't look at him the same way. Even if I ever forgive him, just know. I like sex, so that makes me a slut, but that's not the problem when I'm having sex with him. Yeah, double standards. I'm just heartbroken over this because I don't know. This came out of nowhere. Before breaking up, he said everything would be okay if I just never wrote about sex. I mean, really? No. I like it. I like writing about it. I like writing fics. I like it. It pays my bills. So screw that. But in his mind, if I just stopped writing kinky sex scenes, then he wouldn't feel insecure and wouldn't lash out like this. I'm just glad it came out though. This side of him, still, this is just so freaking sad. TLDR, he didn't like me writing about sex, wanted me to stop, we broke up. Good on you, OP. Because apparently, girls can't write sex scenes because they'll make them a slut. No. The fun fact, the 50 Shades of Grey author, her husband, granted it was a fan fiction of Twilight that she just reworded and all that and changed the names. For her sex scenes in that book, she used all the scenes and experimented with her husband to see how it would work. So all those sex scenes were just like, oh, okay, how would this logistics work and how would this logistics work? And she would use her husband for it. And they're still married, I think. I haven't really gotten read on her thing, but no. First comment here is, here's the thing about playful teasing. It only works when the other party is into it. If they don't like it and you tease anyways, you're not being affectionate, you are bullying. Yep. Also, don't make a running gag out of things that are important to other people. It's a joke, only true if you don't believe in the joke itself. If so, then it's easy to say opposite. Bro, she managed to get 12 of them in her. What a slut, LMAO. But yeah, no, in all seriousness, I get that this is about women taking control of their sexuality, and it's very powerful. I love how you wrote the etc., etc., etc. It should be effortlessly to offset your mock humor about genuine curiosity and praise. You can even throw creative criticism in there. It shows you're engaged with the work. Stop when they tell you to. Maybe you think consent doesn't matter with a stranger you've never met and will never see again, and I think you're a jackass if so, but this is someone you claim to love. If that's how you treat them, I don't want to know how you treat everyone else. Believe them when they say it isn't funny. Humor is subjective, but amongst those you love, it's something to be shared, not exploited. They have to consider it funny too. If they don't seem to share that perspective on it, a good comedian would accept that the joke didn't land and improvise a recovery. Believe them when they say it hurts. Folks typically don't lie when they say they're in pain. Stop and think about how what you said might have caused that pain. Why are you hurting someone you love? If you care about someone genuinely, then it would hurt you to see them hurting, especially if you know that you're the cause. You wouldn't dismiss it or come up with excuses. Your intent would be to protect them from unnecessary pain. Yeah. No, OP, you are not the a-hole. Or, I don't think that was an Am I the a-hole story. Even if it was, you're not the a-hole. Your boyfriend is. I'm so glad you kicked your boyfriend to the curb. Anyway, next story from TIFU, which means today I fucked up. Or today I effed up. Today I effed up by trusting my new wife. Obligatory setup that this happened a few years ago, not today. So, my wonderful, loving new wife and I decided to go out on the town with our wedding party after our 11 a.m. wedding and afternoon reception. It was a beautiful August night in a gorgeous seaside town in New England, so the quaint little bars had outside seating and live music, so it was perfect. We all sat down outside at the second destination, and that's when I realized that my allergies had kicked in. My lovely new bride asked me if I was feeling okay, so I told her about my headache. She reached into her purse and handed me 2 small pills. Here you go, sweetie. This'll help. Oh, God. Just handing me mysterious pills now, I guess. I took the pills with a swig of my rum and Coke, and I thought nothing of it. After being there a while, enjoying the music, the company, the food, and the sweet looks from my new wife, I found myself getting a bit tipsy. I looked down at the only drink I had, the drink I had been babying, and thought, okay, I must be needing some food. I ordered some fries, and our night continued. We left soon after, and I was not doing good. We went back to our hotel, and I romantically carried my wife over the threshold. We were excited about our romantic wedding night and the honeymoon trip that we were leaving for in the morning. My lovely new bride kissed me deeply, and then went into the bathroom to prepare the hot tub. I sat on the bed to take off my shoes, and the next thing I knew, it was the next morning. I had passed out. Oh no. I woke up in a daze and found myself embarrassed and apologized profusely for ruining our romantic night. I'm so sorry, I kept repeating. I don't know what happened. She said to me, holding me tight and saying how worried she'd been. She looked at me and said, I thought for sure the Benadryl would have made you feel better. My jaw dropped open and I looked at my amazing new wife. You gave me 2 Benadryl? She nodded her head, thinking to herself about how peculiar medicine didn't affect her the same as most. How peculiar. I began to laugh hysterically and pulled her into my arms. I love you so much, but I can't believe you drugged me on our fucking wedding night. And no, I've never let her forget it. TLDR, trusted my new wife. Oh boy, she really knocked you, because you took those with some alcohol. Sometimes it does nothing to me, and sometimes it makes me loopy and pass out. I imagine with drinking, the latter would be likely. I had half a drink that night. That's what made it weird. Had I drank more, I would have had a different reaction. Dang, they're now recommending against it due to better alternatives. Yep, there's basically no reason to take Benadryl now. I remember before we married, my husband and I drank a bottle, maybe 2, of wine and took a couple Benadryl. Neither of us had taken it in 10 plus years and also didn't realize we were not supposed to drink when taking them. How does people not know? Okay. We both woke up in a confused daze about 18 hours later. I remember both of us looking at the clock confused until we put 2 and 2 together. Yeah. Why is everybody drugging everybody in the comments? Why are we admitting this? My son has ADHD. When he was small, he was bit by a spider on the forehead. It swelled up for about 4 inches by the time we reached the ER. They gave him a shot of Benadryl and sent us home with instructions for dosing for 2 more days. For the next 8 days, the babysitter and I were dealing with the Tasmanian Devil and Dennis the Menace. It was the worst days of my life. This is too damn funny. Benadryl is like narcotics to me and nothing at all for my wife. She cracks up when I used to take it once a year or so and I'm stoned out of my mind all day. I have severe ADHD and anything that makes neurotypical people fall asleep makes me absolutely manic and hyped up. Benadryl, NyQuil, can't take any of it. Maybe she's like me. A lot of people are just like, yeah. For a lot of people, Benadryl knocks them out. For a lot of people, it just does it. All right. We're going to do another retail hell one. What are some of the dumbest questions customers have asked you? I had a woman who wanted to return an item without a receipt or the item. Her, can I return a blouse I bought here without a receipt? Me, yes ma'am, if you used your loyalty account. Her, okay, here's the number. Me, okay ma'am, where's the item? Her, it's at home, I just wanted to return it. Me, we actually need to have the item to return it? Her, why? Me, I need a manager to register one. Because you can't return it without it being there. Duh. I had the same thing, but they brought in a shopping bag from the store and sat it on the counter. I went through hooking up their account, asking for the receipt they didn't have, and then I opened the shopping bag and there was literally nothing in there. Nothing. She said she brought the bag so she could prove she brought it from us. Ma'am. No, she did not get the return from the item she left at home. Also, had someone tried to return something over the phone? No, they did not plan on coming in any way, so no customer, no receipt, no item, still expected the return. No. A woman did this to me once with a bag of pepperoni she had already eaten. She looked at her receipt and realized later it cost more than she thought it would and wanted her money back. She wanted me to get one off of the shelf to process the return. No, because it's in your stomach. I had someone attempt to return an item that she didn't intend to bring in. The conversation went something like this. Hi, I'd like to make a return. I have the receipt right here. Sure, I just need to see the item. Are you freaking kidding me? It's with my mother in several states away. It didn't work the way she wanted, so I wanted my money back. Ma'am, do you know what the word return means? Hello? Customer has me ring up a $600 transaction last holiday season. Oh, I get paid tomorrow. Can I send you all the money then? You can come here shopping tomorrow, sure. No, but you don't understand. I need this to bring this home today. Then I need $600 today. He threatened to call the police on me and wound up being escorted out by said police for screaming at everyone. Customer is upset she lost her credit card. She called last night and I had to look, but it wasn't in the shop. Customer, why didn't you find my credit card? Me, we looked last night. It's not here. Customer, well now I have to cancel it. Yelling, stomping out. Me, looking at my boss. She probably should have done that last night, huh? Or at least put a freeze on it. Will this hose reach the end of my yard? I don't know. I'm not in your yard. I don't know. Another one is literally day 1 on the job and an old lady asked me why the tablet couldn't be turned into a phone. What's the difference between a 6-inch cake and a 9-inch cake? Oh boy. So for anybody who wants to go through and read all these comments, the link will be in my website. There is a lot. It's quite literally a thread, and it has 200 comments. And I'm not going to read you guys all 200 comments. Next story from r/revenge stories. I threw my roommate's dirty dishes in her bed after she refused to clean up. Throwing my roommate's dirty dishes in her bed after she refused to clean up. I, 25 female, live with my roommate, 26 female. For the past year, she's been absolutely disgusting with the dishes. She leaves them in the sink for days, sometimes over a week, and I found moldy food. She leaves them in the sink for days, sometimes over a week, and I found moldy food, bugs, and even a fork stuck to a plate with what looked like dried cheese cement. I've asked her nicely, I've left notes. I even tried doing her dishes a few times, but nothing changed. Last night was the last straw. I came home after a 12-hour shift to find the sink overflowing with her dirty dishes again. I texted her. She replied, I will do it when I can stop nagging. I completely lost it, and I took every single dish, pot, and cup and dumped them all over her bed. Food scraps, mold, everything. Even poured the gross dishwater on her pillow. I ruined her bed. She came home, freaked out, and started screaming at me, calling me a psycho, and said I crossed the line. Now she's threatening to call the landlord and get me kicked out. I feel like she pushed me to this point. Edit. I've gone and had breakfast with my roommate, and we were able to sit down and have a discussion like adults without any arguing, and obviously both apologized to each other. She let me know that she's been going through a lot right now, so she's been slacking on the dishes, and she didn't realize it meant so much to me, and she understands now. I told her I will buy her a new bed, and this won't happen again, and we're all good. I appreciate all the replies and messages I received to figure out what to do and how to fix my situation. I'm sorry. This has been happening for a year, and she said she's been having some issues. She's been having an issue for a year to where she's not doing her dishes? Huh? First comment says, make sure you lock your door. Take anything of value and remove it from the house. Plan on moving out as soon as the lease is up. I did the exact same thing with an old roommate in 2003. I did this with my brother. He was living with me at the time, and I had a newborn baby, and I was just fed up. He was pissed, started throwing the dishes into the living room. I called my mom and told her I was done. If she didn't come get him, one of us was going to jail. She came and got it, she came, made him wash every dish, plus clean the living room. When he finished, she told him to start packing his stuff. Mind you, he wasn't a teenager. He was a man in his 20s. Yeah. I'm sorry, but your roommate has no excuse, OP. I don't know how you guys made up and were okay. I wouldn't have bought her a new bed at all because, one, this has been happening for over a year, and I've been having this issue with you for over a year, and you can't tell me I've been having some issues. And I would have been like, for a year that you just stopped washing dishes? Next story is a best of Redditor Updates with a few trigger warnings of invasion of privacy, teen pregnancy, controlling behavior, and hostile work environments. Whew, that was a lot. I found a hidden camera pointed at where I breastfeed my baby, is the name of the title. Original post was October 10th, 2025. I'm honestly kind of freaking out right now. For context, I'm a teen mom to my 7-month-old daughter. I recently started nannying again because I need the income, and I took a job that wasn't ideal. 2 kids in my neighborhood for $16 an hour. I used to study child health and development in high school before I dropped out to raise my daughter, and I've got about a year and a half of nannying experience. I found this family on care.com, and looking back, there was so many red flags. She had no profile picture. She refused a phone interview, saying she only does in person because she can tell character better that way. She used military time for everything, so I assumed she was ex-military. She's not. And she insisted on meeting at a school, not a coffee shop or anywhere public I suggested. She was 15 minutes late and showed up in short shorts, no bra, slippers, and high socks. Not exactly the strict, polished person I expected based on her tone over text. I would have been like, you plan on going somewhere after this? Or going back to bed? What? She had 3 kids, 6 female, 4 female, and almost 2 male. The interview actually went okay, and because she lived nearby, I accepted the job on the spot. She mentioned paying me as a 1099 contractor, which is illegal for household employees in my state, so I told her she'd either need to do under the table cash or a proper W-2. She chose cash, but refused to sign a contract because she didn't want paper trails. That's another red flag. Oh, he even said, that's another red flag I should have listened to. During the interview, I specifically said no secret nanny cams. She told me she only had 2 cameras, both in her kids' rooms, which I was completely fine with. Then the weird comments started happening. Day 1. I served the kids some fruit that was already cut up in the fridge. Later she mentioned, "You forgot to wash it." No. Another time, she brought up a snack I had packed for my daughter, one I never left at her house. She mentioned me wiping down her counters with a reusable towel, something she couldn't have known unless she was watching me. She also somehow knew I use voice to text because of my dyslexia, something I never told her. She has these cameras. I only have 2, I swear. You sure? At that point, I assumed there was a hidden camera or mic somewhere, which was super off-putting considering she knew I breastfed my daughter and had specifically asked if there was any cameras. The vibe in general was off. She made really disregarding comments, like saying she doesn't understand why anyone would go to college for child development and strictly referring to me as a babysitter. She was dismissive, controlling, and constantly adding new chores on top of childcare to the point that I could barely focus on the kids. Her daughter would also often say some weird and concerning things. For example, "My mom's gonna be mad, but it's okay, because she won't be mad at me. The floors are really dirty. You need to sweep them." And one time, she went on a minute tangent about silly, forgetful people who always forget everything after I left my lunchbox at their house overnight. Along with this and some other stuff she said, I just assumed she was repeating stuff her mother had said. But today was the breaking point. My daughter wasn't feeling well, so she wanted to be held most of the day. The 2-year-old knocked over a set of picture frames on himself. The house was not at all child-friendly. The 4-year-old had multiple meltdowns, and when I tried to calm her, she started kicking and hitting me. I let the mom know I needed to leave early, and she agreed as long as both kids were down for a nap first. While I was feeding my daughter before leaving, I noticed the Alexa was flashing green every time I spoke. I googled it and learned that it means that there's a drop in basically. Someone is listening in. That's when I started looking around the room, and sure enough, I found a hidden camera tucked inside an open purse, pointed directly at the chair where I was breastfeeding my daughter. I froze, my stomach dropped, I grabbed my baby, packed up our stuff, and left without unloading the dishwasher. A few hours later, she sent me a long text rant about clarifying expectations. Basically, she wanted me to be a maid, not a nanny, all while watching 3 kids. After talking to my husband, I decided to quit immediately. I'm still shaken that someone recorded me feeding my baby without consent. I'll update once I officially quit and send her my message, but seriously, trust your gut. Relevant and stop comments. Somebody said OP needs to report the mother to the police immediately if she's a minor. OP said, "I'm not a minor. I'm 19. OP also said she graduated high school early, started college when she was 17, got married when she was 18. The children were not unattended. The mother works from home, but it's upstairs. But she does have 2 cameras in each of the children's rooms. I did not take any pictures because my mingle was to get out of there, and I didn't know how to leave an update. but I will write it out tomorrow. One commenter said, "Holy shisa, OP, that's absolutely disgusting and definitely illegal in most places. Recording someone breastfeeding without consent is a serious crime, like sexual exploitation level serious. Document everything you can remember and definitely file a police report ASAP. The fact that she was so sketchy about paper trails makes way more sense now. She knew exactly what she was doing." Commenter 2, "Okay, I'm sorry, but I kept getting hung up on the fact that these children, all under 6, would be home alone after you leave, even if you put them down for a nap first. Especially if you mentioned that the house was not at all child friendly. But yeah, her recording you without your consent is unhinged, and you should report it." Commenter 3, "I will report to the police and care.com. It's unbelievable that not only would she be recording you like a weirdo, but also using you as a maid when you're hired to take care of the kids. But for real, how do you know she's not selling videos of you? She sounds off the rails." Commenter 4, 2 words, police report. The update was posted on October 11th, 2025. Update, I found a hidden camera pointed where I was breastfeeding my baby. I forgot to mention in my last post that I unplugged both the camera and the Alexa before I left that day. Between that and my mom, who is a therapist, and having talked to her before, strongly believing she's a narcissist, I decided I would not be returning. My mom actually helped me write a text to keep things calm and avoid any retaliation. The nanny mom knows where I live. Ooh. So we wanted to be careful with how I worded it, so here's what I sent her. "Thank you for sharing your concerns. Today was definitely a rough one with sick kids, lack of sleep, and a lot of challenging behaviors. After reflecting, I feel like with the expectations and the different ages, this position isn't the best fit for me. For safety reasons, I believe it would be better for you to find someone else. 2M knocking down the picture frames today because I was preoccupied with 4F, and my daughter has really shown me that it would be best for me to step away immediately for everybody's safety." She replied with, "Wow, okay, that's pretty unexpected. I disagree with the immediate safety concerns, especially being that he is 20 months and didn't do it with malicious intent, but I respect your decision. I will calculate your time and pay you accordingly. My mom said this is typical response of a narcissist, keeping her child's faults as her own." I just replied, "Thank you," and she did end up paying me, but only 1/3 of what I was owed. Here's the message she sent with the payment. "Paid 30 minutes removed for unfulfilled obligations that I had to tend during my lunch today, and 6 hours removed for previous overpayment of miscalculated hours. Thank you for your time with us." The unfulfilled obligations she's talking about, dishes. I had already cleaned but didn't put away from the night before when I wasn't even working, and not sweeping the floors. Also, looking back, I feel like there was a lot of mind games she'd play on me through stuff she heard and saw, including her miscalculating the hours. She randomly started counting my 5-hour days as 6 hours and would constantly mention it and write it on my clock and sheet. I didn't know if she was testing me, just feels odd. She would also constantly repeat that she was a good person and had good morals, even sometimes going as far as repeating, "She's a good person," 3 times in the same conversations. Oh boy. I haven't filed a police report, but I also didn't take any pictures. I reported her to care.com. She already has a post up. I'm planning to check in occasionally to see if it's taken down, and she's hired somebody else. They sort of live in my neighborhood, so maybe I'll be able to catch the nanny on a walk and give her a heads up. They also had a nanny before me that left abrupt as well. A few people pointed out in my last post that I was being severely underpaid. You're right. I already started looking for another nanny position and have been offered $22 to $25 an hour, which just confirmed how much I was being taken advantage of. Edit. It has been about 4 days. I've mentioned I found her on care.com. I saw a post up now. She's offering $15 to $18 an hour, and the $18 an hour is a lie. I doubted she'd find anybody at that price range, but sure enough, her post was taken down. I looked, and her account is still up, so I assume she found a new nanny. I took the long way to work and drove by her house, and sure enough, a mom of 1 or 2 kids was standing outside holding their baby. Couldn't help but think she's trying to do this to another mother. I'm afraid to say anything to this mom because what if it's her family once again? My mom is practically diagnosed her as a narcissist, and I'm terrified of what she would do given she knows where I live. Hope he also said I left a toy at their house and they left it in my mailbox. Just a little bit odd. One comment says, I don't understand how you left. Oh, more people are just commenting about her children. Opie said, no, mother works upstairs. But yeah. I would try and talk to the new babysitter or nanny because that's just creepy. Very much so. Next story is from Am I Overreacting? Am I overreacting? Girlfriend asked me to keep my first girlfriend who is... I'm sorry, what? Okay. Am I overreacting? Girlfriend asked me to keep my first girlfriend who is dead. I'm a bit concerned, but okay. I recently got into matcha and my girlfriend got me my first bamboo whisk a couple months ago. Since it was my first and I was still figuring it out, it's a little banged up and some prongs are broken. Today we were casually talking and I showed her a new matcha brand I was getting and that I was getting it with a new whisk. When I told her for fun that I'd keep the first whisk because it was my first and that she got it for me, then I said, you always have to keep your first of anything. She then replied with, you can also keep your first girlfriend, out of the blue. I was with my first girlfriend for 2 years before she passed away to breast cancer when I was 21. It was the most difficult time of my life. My girlfriend knows about this past. To be honest, I didn't know what to say. I was just shocked and I said that wasn't nice and kept quiet, and it was silent the entire time. I asked her to go home a couple minutes later. We were sitting in a cafe. We stayed quiet the whole way home, and until now, I still don't know what to say. She said sorry while we were still there, and I said okay. I moved on from my past girlfriend, but my current is, for some reason, insecure of her. They've never met, and she doesn't know what she looks like, and I've never ever described her personality, her looks, or anything in detail. I still think it wasn't nice. I'm not upset. I'm not shocked anymore and just disappointed. She's still in my place sitting quietly elsewhere, and I feel like asking her to head back home. Yeah. Nah, OP. I would try and break up with her because that's not cool. First comment is, I'm trying to understand why she would say that though. Like, it doesn't make any sense for her to say that at all. Was she trying to be funny or mean? Because I'm thinking if my boyfriend told me what you told her, I would feel cherished. Right? Like, oh, thanks. You want to keep the whisk because I gave it to you. That's sweet. Somebody else said, I'm sorry. Your current girlfriend is insecure. As long as my former girlfriend didn't come out of your mouth on a daily basis, her insecurity is all on her own. I know you said you never so much as described her, but there may have been offhanded references. On one hand, it's totally normal to comment on someone that's been part of your life for 2 years. As long as you've allowed yourself to grieve, there's no reason you can't give your heart entirely to a new person. As for your current girlfriend, because you and your former partner never actually broke up, she's convinced you're still carrying a torch for her. She seems to think she's the stand-in, you don't love her as much, and the relationship will end. If that's the case, it's going to eat at her until she breaks the relationship. That's a self-fulfilling prophecy. She's already causing cracks. I don't know what, if anything, you can do to reassure her. In the end, her insecurity is on her own ghost to fight, and ultimately, she's the only one that can. My dad remarried after my mom died. I have no doubt he loved my mother, but I have no doubt that he loves my stepmom. The relationships are different because they're different people, but the love is the same. Right. So, a lot of people are telling OP that this is more of a girlfriend's insecurity, and I kind of have to feel like that's the same thing. I would have been like, oh, thank you. You don't have to keep the broken whisk, though. Please throw it away. But that's just me. Next story. Am I the a-hole for telling my sister I don't care when she gets married? I, 35 female, just celebrated my anniversary, and my sister, 38 female, Kayla, is still mad about a fight we had right before my wedding. I would love to know who's the a-hole. Kayla was married at 23 and divorced at 30. She got a new boyfriend pretty much immediately after the papers were finalized, and they've been together ever since. Kayla always said the divorce was so hard she would never marry again, and her boyfriend seemed fine with that. When my husband and I started talking about marriage, we told our families. Everyone gave their blessing, including my sister. I didn't like surprises, so my husband revealed he was going to propose at my birthday party, which was near Valentine's Day. I told my 4 future bridesmaids, including my sister, in case they wanted to witness the proposal. A week before my party, Kayla surprised the family by announcing her boyfriend had proposed Christmas Day. We thought it was a little odd for a couple reasons. 1, she was so vocally against a second marriage. 2, she bought her own ring, but people change their minds all the time, and it doesn't matter who bought the ring if they're happy. We congratulated her and let it be. The oddness continued after my husband proposed and we started planning our wedding. My sister hated all of our choices. From our theme, autumn, to invitations, golden cream, but especially my dress. I didn't wear pure white because I got married in my 30s, and it felt silly to do the blushing virgin shtick at my big age. According to Kayla, this was mortifying and shameful, which was weird considering she was pregnant with my nephew, showing when she would walk down the aisle, and no one said a word. The real issue happened about a month before my wedding. Kayla called me out of nowhere and said, "Hey, would you care if I got married before you?" I said, "No, that's fine. You got engaged first after all. Go for it." Then Kayla said, "But what if we got married really close to your wedding day? Wouldn't that bother you?" I had 1,000,000 people to call that day, including the caterers and the bakery, so I simply said, "Sis, I don't care when you get married. Go down to the courthouse an hour before the ceremony and get married the exact same day if you'd like. Just be dressed and at the venue by 3 p.m., and I'd be the happiest bride ever." I mean, most lenient bride I've ever heard. Just be at the chapel when you need to be there. You know? Kayla started screaming that it was so rude of me to say I don't care about her wedding. I said that's not what I meant, but she hung up on me and told the family her version. I still get shit from our aunts for something I didn't mean. Now, it's a year later, and my sister is threatening to not invite me to her wedding, which still hasn't happened. Am I the a-hole? No. Because she was so intent on getting you to be the bad guy and wanting you to be the bridezilla. She's like, I don't ever want to get married again. But as soon as you are getting ready to get married, oh, he proposed. And I'm pretty sure her boyfriend's over here is like, I did. When did I propose? I don't remember this. But like, OP, way to go on you. Your sister wanted to make you out to be a bridezilla, and you just like Uno reversed it on her without really caring, and was just like, get married on the same day as me. I don't care. As long as you're at the chapel by 3 p.m., dressed, ready to go, I'm happy for you. You know? But yeah, no. First comment is, she's upset that her attempt to create drama fizzled out into nothingness with the comments of yours, NTA. Second comment is, it reminds me of my sister, adult at the time, having a screaming meltdown at our mother because I was tired of her trying to pick fights and decided to walk around town aimlessly to majority of my days to avoid her. She was yelling at my mom, needing me to be in the house so she could pick fights, with me and was then infuriated when I told them both I was moving out the day after my 18th birthday, 1 month later. She has untreated BPD and bipolar disorder and once told me straight to my face she didn't feel loved unless she's fighting with at least one person in her life. So me setting boundaries was the emotional equivalent of setting her ablaze. Moving out at the time backfired, but I was eventually able to go no contact. She still tried provoking me by leaking information about my cross-country move to our abusive dad, which just resulted in her informant, mom, also getting cut off. She probably still spiraling nearly 2 years later, which is equal parts hilarious and embarrassing. I don't understand why people want to create drama. I'm trying to, I will read the drama and read it to you guys and give my opinions. But, no. I would full on be like, no, thanks. Sorry, not sorry. I will try and run away from drama. I don't understand how people can just, create drama out of nowhere. I'm pretty sure I am the drama. But, if anybody who knows me is listening to this, please let me know if I'm the drama. Even if I'm not, be like, Paula, you're the drama. Just put that in the comments every now and then. Paula, you're the drama. Anywho, that was today's episode of Threadheads. I will see you guys next week. Bye, guys.